T stands for technical. C stands for technical. And D stands for document. D stands for document. This is the common technical document. Now, what is this common technical funda? You may be asking this question to yourself. See, for any regulatory approvals, for any product approval, you need to provide a certain set of information to the authorities. Yes or no? The way, suppose, if you want to take admission into a college, you need to provide some set of information to the college. It could be your mark sheet, your living certificate, application form, paid fee information, all that. So, and this information is going to be common across all the colleges or no? Hmm? This information required will be common across all the colleges. Yes. And that is called as a common document now. That is called as a common document. Similarly, when you have to apply for a approval of a product in various authorities, like in US, suppose FDA, in case of Europe, it could be EMA, or in case of India, it could be CDSCO. So these are the regulatory authorities or regulatory bodies. And these regulatory bodies needs your product information into a appropriate standard format, and this standard format is acceptable or is common across many of these regulatory authorities. Understand the word common. So this requirement is common across many different authorities, and hence that is called as a common document. Now, common document is understood. What is the meaning of technical now? So what document can be called as a technical? So any document which is generated out of conducting some sort of activities. Think about a stability data. Do we conduct stability study? So some sort of activity. Think about analytical method validation. So do we conduct activity here? Absolutely yes. Think about batch report. Batch report. Do we conduct manufacturing? Absolutely yes. So whatever documents you have generated out of conducting some sort of technical activities, that document is called as a technical document. So what are those technical documents which are common across those authorities? That set of document is called as a common technical document. I hope you understand what is the meaning of common technical document. Please type in U for understand in the chat box. Now, this common technical document or CTD has how many modules, by the way? See, CTD has got these 5 different modules. 5 different modules. And you can see, uh, just a minute. You can see module 1 at the top of, or apex of the triangle, right? Then module 2 in between. Here is module 3, module 4, and then module 5. The way, suppose you think, imagine, suppose your house now. So your house has a lot many household items, yes or no? You may be having TV, sofa, chair, table, kitchen utensils, isn't it? Are you putting all these household items into a single room? Or do you segregate these household items into a different sections or different rooms? For example, your sofa will be in the living room. Your bed is going to be in the bedroom. Your cookware utensils is going to be in the kitchen, right? In the similar way, now there are going to be hundreds and thousands of the documents that needs to be submitted to authority for product approval, right? And to have this proper traceability, to understand the document is really submitted or not, the document is arranged or separated into 5 different sections or 5 different modules. This is what just a segregation, the separation of it, various documents into a different sections, and those sections are just called as the modules. Now, what is the content of module 1? The content of module 1 is all administrative information. Now, what are the examples of admin information? Think about the application form. So, application form for the product is going to be admin information. Or think about a cover letter for a given product. Cover letter means who talks about why the product, what is the product, etc. Think about patent certification. Think about the fee paid, because no one is going to review your application free of the cost, right? So you have to pay certain fee, except IND, no required the fees. But because IND is not a marketing authorization application, but it is just a approval to conduct the clinical trial. So apart from IND, other applications needs the fees because they are for marketing purpose. So this information is called as the admin information. Now tell me in the chat box, is application form going to be similar of US FDA, EMA and India? Tell me yes or no in the chat box. What do you think? The application form structure of India, EMA, CDSCO India or TGA Australia is going to be exactly same? What do you think? What about the fee structure now? Is fee structure going to be same across Europe, India, Brazil, US? No. So what we understand now, yes, now this admin information or these administrative documents are not common. Yes or no? Are you agreeing to this point? Not common. Do you agree? They are not common. Correct or not? What do you think? Yes or no? So they are not common. And if they are not common, what you can say, this module 1 documents actually not part of the CTD. How many of you understand this point now? Please type in me in the chat box. Why do we say that module 1 documents are not part of the CTD? Because they are not common across the regions, right? Let us now come to the module number 2. Or before that, I would like to talk about module 3, 4 and 5. So what is the content of module 3 now? See, module 3, as you can see over here, is also called as the quality modules. What it is called as? It is called as the quality module. What is meant by quality module? Because this module is going to provide or justify that product is going to be of desired quality. It could be about its strength, identity, its purity, efficacy. That is called as the quality. And especially the quality of the drug product depends on whom? Depends on specifically drug substance. Yes or no means API. Maybe small amount of excipients also plays a role. So excipients and we'll say drug product. So in short, the quality module is going to give assurance that yes, our drug substance, excipients used, and drug product manufactured at the end is going to be of desired quality. And hence, the quality module is going to define the quality of the final product. Now, what kind of information goes into the drug substance? So what information is going to required for a drug substance? Understanding the general properties of the drug substance, like nomenclature, general properties. Then understanding the manufacturability. Who is manufacturing the drug substance? What are the various steps of manufacturing? All about the manufacturing. Then understanding the control or characterization, sorry, that is characterization. So how you are sure that you are going to get the paracetamol at the end? Because you need to characterize that, right? Or structural elucidation by using NMR, mass, etc. Then understanding, how this process of manufacturing drug substance is appropriately controlled. Do we control this process appropriately? What are the in-process steps? Like, okay, we are going to manufacturing temperature. We are going to monitor temperature. We are going to monitor pH. Because we know these are the important controls during our manufacturing of paracetamol or any drug substance in that case. Then understanding, what is the reference standard we have used for characterizing our working standard, or do we manufacture our reference standard in-housely? And in case yes, how this reference standard is characterized appropriately. So characterize reference standard. And it's not only about your drug substance reference standard, it could be about your impurities reference standard, because paracetamol or your drug substance may be having multiple impurities. So those impurities reference standards should be manufactured. Or if not, you can procure the reference standard from vendor, but the characterization report must be available with you. The next part is going to be the container closure system. So how you are going to package your drug substance? What are going to be the packaging materials? So those details has to be part of. And finally, you need to define how this drug substance is going to be suitable, uh, maybe after its manufacturing date. That is about the stability. So these are the 7 important points: general information, manufacturing, characterization, control, reference standard, container closure system, and stability are very essential to define the quality of drug substance. And I always call this as a GMCCRCS. GMCCRCS, right? I hope you understand in shortly what parameter generally to be studied to define the quality of a drug substance. In the similar way, the quality of drug product also has to be defined, yes or no. You have to define the quality of drug product. So what different parameters has to be studied to confirm that yes, our drug product is of required quality? Think about the composition, description and composition of your drug product. So how the drug product is manufactured, composed? What are the excipients? What is the quantity of excipient? What is the grade of excipient? What is the function of excipient? So all this description and composition is going to be studied. The next point is, how this drug product is developed, or product development report, or PDR we call that, PDR, because formulation development team must have conducted certain amount of trial to come across the formulation composition. So how that has been done, that is we captured in the product development report. Then talks about the manufacturer. So who is manufacturing the drugs product? Your company. And what is the various steps of the manufacturing, like starting from dispensing to maybe granulation, then drying, then maybe milling, then blending, then lubrication, then compression, then coating, then packaging. So all these stages has to be well defined. That is about the manufacturing. Then talks about the control, but this control of what now? Control of excipients. How you are going to control the quality of excipient? Because excipient is one of the very important ingredient of any drug product. So do you have the spec STP for drug excipients? Do you have the suitable methods validated for those excipients? That is the control of excipient. The next one is control of drug product now. So how do we control drug product? Again, spec, valid STP, method validation, batch analysis, justification of specification, right? All those comes under the control of drug product. So control of excipient quality, the control of drug product is important. Then the same point is going to be, what are the reference standard used, the way we talked about drug substance, what is the container closure system or packaging system of your drug product, and finally, what is the shelf life based on to the stability study. So these are the 8 important points which are very relevant to define the quality for a drug product. And this can be called as the DPM-CCRCS. DPM-CC-RCS. I hope you understand how to control the quality of your product. Type in yes in the chat box. That's a very essential part of getting a job in regulatory affairs, or understanding what really required to get into the regulatory submission. In the similar way, module number 4 talks about the non-clinical study. What is non-clinical study now? Non-clinical study is generally conducted to define what? Now, quality module 3 talks about the quality, and module number 4 talks about the safety. Talk about so this study is conducted by using rodents, animals, and this study is conducted at various levels, like maybe the acute toxicity study, acute study. This is also called as a short-term study, maybe just for 24 hours. The second type is called as the chronic toxicity or repeat dose toxicity or long-term toxicity. So this is going to be studied for longer duration, maybe sometimes even for 6 months. The next one is called as the carcinogenicity. So whether your drug product causing a cancer, carcinogenicity. The next one is mutagenicity, whether drug substance mutate the DNA, mutagenicity. And the fifth could be uh, whether the drug product impacts on a reproductive system, that is called as a teratogenicity. So these are the general toxicities conducted at the non-clinical studies, and that going to define the safety of the drug product. And finally, at the module, sorry, in the module number 5, you are going to give the information on the clinical trials conducted. So, and that is going to define the efficacy of your drug product. So you are going to define what is going to be the dose regimen, what are the indications, what are the side effects, and all that will be covered in the efficacy or the fast last study, that is the clinical trials, according to the guideline of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, or even phase 4 also. So I hope you now realize that the quality module defines the quality, module 4 defines the safety, and module 5 defines the efficacy. And these are the three important pillars uh, to get approval of any drug product: quality, safety, and efficacy. Now the question comes in, okay, we understand the content of module 3, 4, and 5. Now what is the need of module 2 then? Why module 2 is there? Yes or no? We talked about module 3, quality, module 4, safety, module 5, efficacy. What is the purpose of module 2? Now what module 2 contain? Now module 2 contains just the summaries and overviews. Summaries, summaries, and overviews. See, if you ask me, no, uh, it is very it is very time consuming, rather we can say, to conclude the information provided in the quality, safety, and efficacy modules. So if someone is really wanted to understand in a shorter time, is really product a quality, having a safety and efficacy, one can think about making a summaries and short overviews of all these technical document, technical data. Suppose we talked about GMCCRCS and DPMCCRCS. And this information is going to be gathered around thousands and thousands of the pages. So if you want to summarize whether really a drug substance and drug product is of real good quality, you may summarize that into 40 to 50 pages. 50 pages. You have thousands of the pages, right? And these 1,000 pages are now converted into only 40, 50 pages as a summaries. And this summary of the quality is included into the module number 2. So this is for actually reviewer. Reviewer means not into your organization, but the reviewer who sits in the regulatory authority's office. So for him or her to understand and conclude how the product is of required quality, of required safety and efficacy, the module 2 is provided. It's just the review or summary of these technical modules. I hope you now understand the content of module 2 also. Please type in yes in the chat box. So this is called as the CTD modules 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the next point is, now what is the role of ICH guidelines? How many of you have heard about ICH guidelines? Type in me or no in the chat box. I'm sure everyone must have heard about ICH guidelines in some or other form. So this ICH guidelines also helps you in understanding which information needs to be captured into the CTD. The first important such ICH guideline is ICH M4. And this ICH M4 has given the structure of all these module 1 to 5. Of course, module 1 information is not there because 1 is captured in the regional. So ICH M4 provide the information from module 2 for module 3, 4 and 5. The first important ICH guideline. The second important ICH guideline is about ICH M4Q. We talked about module 3 or quality modules, how to authorize drug substance, drug product sections into module 3. You have to refer ICH M4Q guideline. The next one is ICH M4S. This is another very important ICH guideline. And this guideline helps us to understand the content of module number 4, that is non-clinical study report. ICH M4E talks about how to conduct, what information required in the uh, clinical study report, that is a module number 5. Then ICH M8 talks about the requirement of eCTD. See, CTD is a common technical document. Okay, we talked about at the beginning. CTD what is a common technical document, the set of document required for a product approval. But how this application can be submitted? If you say, okay, I wanted to provide this application in an electronic way, think about an email. How many of you have submitted email so far with attachment type in me in the chat box? I'm sure everyone must have submitted email with attachment. So this is called as the electronic mail, right? Electronic mail. You are mailing the content in electronic medium, that is called as the email. Now, if you're submitting CTD with electronic medium, what you can call that CTD? You will call that CTD as a eCTD. I hope you understand what is meant by CTD and what is meant by eCTD now. So CTD is the set of documents required for product approval, and eCTD is the way you are submitting that document information to the authorities. And what is the guideline which talks about the requirement of eCTD? That is ICH M8 guideline. And on top of these 5 important guidelines, there are certain guidelines which are very important. Like there are quality guidelines, right? Quality guidelines especially. Quality Q1 to Q14, these are the guidelines available. There are certain multidisciplinary guidelines, also very important. So, but these are the 5 important guidelines to understand the content of CTD and eCTD. I hope you now clear about the relevant guidelines for CTD, eCTD. Please, yeah, TOC is going to be same, Varsha. Absolutely. No change. Now, the next point is when to use CTD or eCTD. Let us now understand in what situations you are going to use CTD or eCTD. And you will be surprised, for most of applications, we need to use CTD and eCTD. So the first such application is a new drug application, NDA. What is that NDA? What is NDA, by the way? What is NDA? Hmm? When NDA is used, hmm, what is NDA? When NDA is used? See, NDA stands for New Drug Application. And what is the new drug application is? In case if your drug has got a new molecular entity or NME or NCE, new chemical entity, in that case, your application can be called as a new drug application. New drug application. Or sometimes the hybrid application is also called as NDA. Means what? Suppose the drug substance is not enemy, but different salt, different salt, different salt. The different salt application is also called as the NDA or new drug application. So while submitting this NDA, you have to submit through CTD structure and by eCTD now. The second is abbreviated new drug application. This is also called as the generic product application. Generic. Because the moment, the patent get expired, because NDA comes with 20 years of patent, right? Yes or no? And no one can market your product uh, before expiration of this patent. But the moment patent get expired, then companies manufacture the same product that is called as the copycat or same like NDA, and that product application is called as now your biologics license application, like protein, peptides are manufactured by using living cells. So those products also needs to be applied using CTD and eCTD, even biosimilars. Now, what is the biosimilars? The way we talked about NDA, you can relate NDA with BLA. So this is something same, right? NDA stands for new drug, BLA stands for also the new biologics product. So both are very new. ANDA is what now? Is copyright, is copy, is the same as that of your new drug application. Correct or not? In the similar way, biosimilar is also going to be almost similar to biologics. Now, I'm using very cautious word almost because it is not possible to manufacture exact BLA or biologics. So, biosimilars in very layman's language can be said to be a ANDA or generic version of biologics. I hope you understand the similarities between NDA, ANDA, and BLA biosimilars. Type in yes, no in the chat box. Hmm, fantastic. Then investigational new drug application. So we talked about non-clinical studies, yes or no? Non-clinical studies. Now, once you conduct non-clinical studies, you are now going to go ahead with the clinical studies. But how to get the permission to go ahead with the clinical studies? And this is so you have to apply for investigational new drug application or IND. So to get a permission for conducting the clinical trials are what? First in human trials. You have just conducted animal trials as a part of non-clinical trials. These are animal trials, right? Animal trials. And now you want to conduct human trials. Human trials. To conduct these human trials, you have to get a permission. And this permission is taken by applying something called as the investigational new drug application or IND in case of US. It is also called as a clinical trial application or CT in case of the Europe. So this is a gateway for beginning your clinical trials or first in human trials. That is IND. So IND also needs uh, sorry. So IND also needs the CTA and you can follow eCTD route of submitting this application. In the similar way, the marketing authorization application for Europe, you know, also needs the CTD format and eCTD application. So you take any kind of product, most of them needs the CTD structure and electronic medium of application or eCTD. If you're clear about these 6 different applications, please type in C for clear in the chat box. And now then we'll talk about next important point. See, when you provide the application, you get a authorization to market and sell your product into that particular regulatory body probably, right? But is this the only time when you are going to use CTD? I'm asking about the post approval changes or post approval variations. Once you get the NDA approved, you are going to launch the product, right? Correct or not? You're going to launch. Once you get ANDA, you're going to launch the product. Launch. Now, during this manufacturing, life cycle of the product, you are going to have some changes possible, yes or no? Changes. So what kind of changes have been done? Suppose you are making manufacturing changes. You are doing some testing methods are being changed. Now there are certain regulatory changes are coming up. So change is going to be a constant across any product life cycle. So how this change can be managed? How this change can we say about maybe CB0 in case of US CB30 pass or annual reporting. But how the changes has to be managed, and this all changes are also managed by using same CTD or ECTD structure. Is this interesting now? So CTD ECTD not only during the product application, it is going to be continued until the life cycle of your product, life cycle of the product, and how these changes are managed. So to understand this life cycle management of a CTD, we need to understand these four different operations. What are those four operations? The first one is new, second one is replace, third is delete, and fourth one is append. So these are the four important operations that is going to help you to manage all possible changes, and how this all possible changes will be communicated with authority. How you are going to communicate with the authority? Oh, this is the change I am going to make. Again, by using same ECTD, same ECTD. So understand the importance of ECTD. Now, how many of you used publication or doing publication for the product? Please type in me in the chat box if you are doing publications now. Hmm? Submissions, yes or no? Yeah, everything, Akash. CB0, annual reporting, 30, pass, everything will be done through CCTD. So to create this application, the sequence is very important. How many of you know sequence, especially those who are coming from quality control or analytical background? I'm sure you must have heard about or must have prepared the sequence for HPLC, gas chromatography, dissolution, yes or no? So what is the meaning of sequence now? See, the meaning of sequence is what? You are going to arrange the document into a various sequence numbers, right? Maybe initial sequence is 00001, 0001. Next is going to be 0002. The next is going to be 0003. And the way you are analyzing your sample with the sequence, in the similar way, you are going to provide the application with the help of number of, this is the sequence number, the first sequence, this is the second sequence, this is third sequence, this is fourth sequence. So to communicate with the authority, you have to create, means the sequence number has to be there. And all application platforms create the sequence number automatically. So what is going to be 0001 sequence now? Maybe the first sequence, right? The first sequence during application, maybe during application. Suppose you are going to do some changes, then that sequence will become now 002. Maybe you are replacing some document. Yes or no? I will talk about what is replace, append, and delete all that operations now. I hope you now understand the sequence is something which needs to be prepared while communicating document with the authority. Type in you for understand in the chat box. Hmm? Sequence. Okay. Sequence is something. Fantastic. Now, what is the new? What is new? So new means what? the document is submitted to the authority for the very first time. Very first time, yes or no? Very first time. Very first time. You buy a shirt. You buy a shirt. Oh, this is a new shirt, right? You say this is a new shirt. In the similar way, when authorities receive the document for the very first time, then they will call that document as a new document. The way you are saying, you are receiving the shirt for the very first time, you say, oh, it's a new shirt for me. So when the new documents can be submitted, tell me in the chat box. When the new document can be submitted. During the initial application, yes or no? Initial application. Initial application. So when you submit the dossier for approval, now that all document can be called as a new document, correct? New document. So document is being submitted for the first time. It is a fresh piece of content for authorities. Example, initial CTD submission. Now here is a very interesting point. When the document received by the authority, it will be received in two different form. The first one is as a PDF, and second one is what? The second one is called as XML. So PDF will be shared with them, plus XML output get generated, and that output will also be shared with the authorities. PDF and XML. So on the XML, I will show the XML file also now. On the XML, now do you see that there is something comment over here? What is the comment you can read over here now? What is this comment in the bracket? Now these are the documents. These are the document. And you can see, okay, all documents having the comment new. So XML actually identifies whether document is submitted new, is it replaced, is it deleted, or is it appended document. So in case if the comment reads new, then this is the new document which is submitted for the very first time to the authorities. And we just talked about example as initial CTD submission. That is the example of new document. Let us now talk about the replace, the second operation that is possible. Now just imagine, suppose you have submitted the document at the initial you submitted the document. Okay, initial now, correct, initial. And what you found, probably maybe the initial stability was only for 6 months, or stability, not a stability example, I would say, but let us say uh, or let us say stability, not a problem. So stability was having only 6 months, because you have conducted stability only up to 6 months, correct? Now you are still continuing the stability until maybe the 24 months. And when let us say the maybe 12th month gets over, you are going to submit the stability to the authority. So in that case, you want to replace this old document. You want to replace this 6 month stability document with this 12-month. So while replacing this 6 month by 12-month, you are going to conduct a replace operation. So to change any old document or absolute document, this is now absolute document for your company, right? Yes or no? Absolute. And this document needs to be replaced with the current document. And current document is your 12-month document. So replacing this old absolute document, replace operation is going to be used. And as I talked about the comment, they're new. When you replace the document, suppose in a dossier, this instead of this new, you will see the replace comment over there. A replace comment over there. See, when you replace the document, The old document will not get deleted, but it will be available for traceability. But you can't see that old document as such on the XML. You will see the new document, which is not new, but the replace document. So when the replace option can be used, if you want to replace any old document, like superseded documents, absolute document, you can use a replace option. Are you clear about two operations now, the new and the replace? Type in C for clear in the chat box. To replace any absolute document, right? Now the third option is delete. Now when we delete mostly, right, incorrect information can be deleted, yes or no? Or error data can be deleted. We delete this error document. So while submission, suppose you have given wrong document. Just imagine you're supposed to provide analytical method validation report, right? Analytical method validation report for a drug substance. And by mistake, you have provided, let us say, analytical method development report, right? Method development report. Now, what you can do is in this case now, this is a error, right? This is the error, mistake happened. So you have to delete this document, delete the document, and you can add correct document, add correct document. So to do that, you can use delete option. I think delete is quite easy, right? Hmm. So removing a previously submitted document from the current ECTD view, you are just going to delete the document. The example is here, suppose. A document was submitted under the wrong CTD heading, stability report under, suppose, this is example. I talked about analytical method validation versus analytical method development. What is the last operation now? The last operation is append. See, appending, when you append the document, do you append sequence in analytical case, like you add something in the document. If you add something, adding the something information in the document is called as the appending the document. Suppose you have a 6-month stability data and you have now added the 12th month stability data. And if you don't want to replace the old document, if you don't want to replace the old document, you can go with the append option. Appending means what? You are not going to replace any document. Understand the difference between append and replace. In case of a replace, old sequence document won't be available. Won't available. Now this is the replace. But in case of the append, in old sequence, document will be available. Now, suppose we talked about the 6-month document is available in the old sequence 00001. Now you are using append operations, making 00002 sequence. Now in this sequence, we are having now 12th month stability data. Now this is the situation in case of the append. You have both 6-month and 12th month document. But in case of the replace option, your 00001, your 6-month report will not be available. But in 00002, you will have only 12th month report. I hope you understand the difference between replace and append. Type in yes in the chat box. Mostly replace is preferred, not append. Replace is mostly preferred. But you can use that. Both are available, applicable. So replace and append, these are the two different operations. I hope you are with me so far and learning some important concept related to CTD and ECTD. Type in L for learning in the chat box. First, we started our discussion by understanding CTD triangle, right? Then we understand important relevant ICH guidelines. Then we talked about the products where CTD, ECTD is required. And then we talked about the life cycle management of the product. So these are the points we covered so far. How many of you have found sessions valuable so far? Please type in V for valuable in the chat box. Let me know if you are really finding the discussions valuable. And thank you so much for your response and the comment. I really appreciate all of you. Now, before I move on, let me ask you, how many of you are attending the sessions for very first time? Please type in FT for first time in the chat box. Please type in FT for first time in the chat box. So I would like to take a moment to introduce myself because some of you are meeting me for the very first time. So please type in P for permission. And let me take a moment to introduce myself. Thank you. Thank you so much. So my name is Bhaskar Napte, and I have got around 20 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. I worked at companies like USP, I worked at Glenmark, Dr. Reddy's, Apotex, and few more organizations. And during this 20 years tenure, I understood most of the times we professionals do not take up very seriously. We do not take upskilling learning. How many of you have gone through this kind of uh, career? Type in me in the chat box that you have faced such a kind of situations to get a job in regulatory affairs. See, what is the format of the document that goes into a dossier? Now, you can't submit a Word file or Excel file, but most of your document that goes into a dossier is a PDF file or PDF document or PDF format. Now the question comes in, is it just a conversion of Word into PDF? Is that going to be sufficient? The answer is no. So just converting into PDF is not sufficient. So your document must meet a certain requirement. When you create a PDF, those PDF document must meet certain number of requirements. And understanding what are those requirements is very essential if you really want to make these submission ready PDF documents. So these documents are ready for submitting into a ECTD. So the first such document property is called as the version number. So for most of the authorities, the PDF that you're using must be of having a version number of 1.4 to 1.7. You can see here mine is 1.6 now. In case if yours is 1.1 or 1.3, then this version of PDF will not be accepted by the authorities. So version number of your PDF should be between 1.4 and 1.7. Now what is going to be required space size in case of US? It is going to be this one. 8.5 inch or 11 inches, or it is also called as the letter size. What is the size? Letter size. In case of Europe, this also acceptable, but you can also go with the A4 too. So letter size is for US and A4 size is for Europe. Think about it now. So what is the letter size? What is the page size of your document? That also matters a lot. Then think about the fast web view. Can you see here the comment fast web view option over here on my document? It is enabled. Yes means what? It is enabled. So your PDF document must be enabled for the fast web view. Now what happens in the fast web view? Do you see that in case if the document is big, it takes a longer time for uploading, yes or no, or downloading, yes or no? Hmm? If it is a 100 MB document, for example, you see, okay, the PDF file takes a longer time for getting opened, right? So opening it take a time. Now, what happens in this process, when the entire pages gets open, then the PDF will be displayed on the screen. But do you really need to have entire pages at the beginning while you open the PDF? Your focus could be on only first one or two pages, right? So what if the pages are getting one after another, not all at a time, but one after another? Is that okay for you? Because the one after another process is going to take a much lesser time, and that process is called as the fast web view. So if you enable the fast web view, your documents will not get stuck, but your document will start opening page by page, first page, second page, third page, fourth page. So reviewer can immediately start looking at the page number one rather than waiting for maybe 10 to 20 seconds. And this is achieved by conducting fast web view or by enabling fast web view. That's a very important property of your PDF document. Your PDF should not be protected, or the PDF should not have the password. Why so? Because you are not going to share your password with the reviewer, right? It is not acceptable. It is not legally correct. So in case if you protect the document by password, and if the password can't be shared, then your document cannot be reviewed, opened by the reviewer. To avoid this conflict, don't keep password to your document. That's the important property. The next one is bookmark. Have you ever seen the bookmark like this one? Type in me in the chat box if you have seen bookmark of for any document. Hmm? Right. So this bookmark has to be created. Bookmark has to be created. So the bookmark has to be created for your sections and subsections, like maybe 3 to S, then 3 to S1, maybe 3 to S11. So for all these hierarchies, you are expected to create the bookmarks. So how this bookmark has to be created? What are the properties of the bookmark should be? So all that is going to become very essential important in case if you really want to create a submission ready PDF. And trust me, this one skill has the potential to get you job into regulatory affairs. If you learn about how to create the submission ready PDF, you will be employed in the regulatory affairs. Right now attending the webinar, how many of you are in regulatory affairs and doing this PDF preparation? Type in me in the chat box. Type in me in the chat box. See, Gopal Krishna is doing the same thing. Chaitanya is doing the same thing. Flora does same thing. Hepsiba do the same thing. Kalyani does the same thing. So there are many people, who has employed because of this one skill. And if you think I'm not getting a job, it is only because of this reason. If you don't have this skill, guys, you will not be employed. You will not get job into regular affairs very easily. And that's the reason, we have launched a ECTD submission ready program. And if you want to enroll for this program, please stay tuned where I will explain what is going to be part of the program. Please type in yes in the chat box if you're going to stay until the end. The next is hyperlink. See, as like bookmark, have you seen the blue colored hyperlink where once you click on the link, you go to the another destination, yes or no? Have you clicked on such a links? Suppose a website, right? You click on the web address on the document and you reach to another, that particular website. Now that is called as the link or hyperlink, right? This is called as a very specifically web link. In the similar way, for all your PDF documents, if you want to provide some reference, if you want to provide reference, suppose you are saying, okay, my product is stable for 24 months. Now, what is the reference for this shelf life of 24 months? Obviously, stability data, right? Stability data. So you say, please visit stability data, and you create the hyperlink over here. And the moment you click on this hyperlink, you actually go to the stability section. Stability section. So how to create this hyperlink is also a very important and essential skill in case if you want to create a submission ready PDF. So bookmarks, hyperlinks are very essential important part of your document preparation. Now the next important property of the hyperlink or bookmark is inherit zoom. See, within the bookmark, within the hyperlink, these are the secondary requirement. So your bookmark hyperlink should be of inherit zoom. What is inherit zoom now? Inherit zoom means what? Suppose you are reviewing the document with 100% zoom. And the moment you click on the bookmark or hyperlink, you are going to go to the destination. But when you go to the destination now, the zoom size of that destination should be only 100%. Now, this achieving the same kind of zoom level is possible by keeping your hyperlink bookmark as a inherit zoom. To attain the same level of zoom after clicking on the bookmark or hyperlink, that is possible by having a property called as the inherit zoom. So that's a very important property. Okay, so understand the inherit zoom. The next one is, see all the PDF that you are going to submit, they must be a searchable. They must be a searchable. What is most searchable, by the way? Searchable. Suppose you type Control F, Control plus F. You find some words, right? That means, oh, this document is searchable. This document is searchable. But have you seen some documents which are not searchable? What are those documents? Mhm. Yes, Varsha. Applicable for all. Scan document also. Mhm. See, scan documents, images, are they searchable? Mhm. They are not searchable, right? So how to convert these images, scan document from non-searchable to a searchable format? And this is possible by conducting operation called as OCR. So how this OCR can be run will be also very important skill that is going to give you a opportunity into a regulatory affairs. So think about OCR. It is also very important that all the documents with 5+ pages, right? 5+ pages should have a table of content or TOC. The way you have the index for your book, right? In the similar way, all your document must have the index or table of content. And how this TOC will be prepared? The TOC mostly will be prepared against a bookmark. Bookmark. How TOC prepared? The TOC of every document will be prepared against the bookmark. And these are the bookmarks you have created. You can see on the screen right now. So how to create TOC is also a very important skill. Then numbering the pages now. Do you see the page numbering over here? So numbering all the pages are very essential important. So how to number the pages? By using the different softwares. What is going to be your font size and font type now? So mostly companies are preferring using Times New Roman as a font type, and size of the font is preferred to be 12. So these are the important requirements. Resolution should be around 600 dpi or 600 ppi. DPI stands for dots per inch, that is DPI, and PPI stands for pixel, right? Now we have digital, so digital is pixel per inch, that is the PPI. So how many dots are required? 600 dots in the inch. Suppose this is a 1 inch, 1 by 1 inch. So this has a 600 dots, right? 600 dots. That document is called as the having a resolution of 600 dpi. So 1 dpi is also called as, into a ppi, 600 ppi, pixel per inch. So how this has to be checked and verified is also very important. Keep the document size less than 100 megabyte because it helps you to faster review and faster uploading of the downloading and uploading of the file. Now, the next question is, how many of you are really interested to learn practically PDF preparation? Type in PDF in the chat box. I often say in the professionals who has this skill, they always have a better chances of an opportunity or engagement, employment. But before you start learning about the PDF, what is the first important step? Authoring this various module document. See, we talked about module 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We talked about module 1, administrative document. Module 2 contains summaries and overviews. Module 3 contains quality. Module contains non-clinical. Module 5 contains clinical document. And we talk interested to authorize module 1 document, please type in M1 in the chat box. So you are going to receive all these templates when you become part of the program. It is not only about M1. It is also about how to authorize module 2, that is summaries and overviews. Maybe quality overall summary, non-clinical summaries and reviews, clinical summaries and clinical overviews. So all these templates are industry ready templates. Industry ready template. So you can use these templates and you will be authoring all these documents one by one. Module 3 is a very essential part of your skill. That is quality or CMC module. And there are lot many documents to be right. It talks about drug substance document, drug product, appendices, regional information, many documents. And you are going to receive all these templates. It's going to be a very, very important program for you. Module 4 and Module 5. So you are going to create this document first, right? We are going to write all these documents during these training sessions. And these documents are then converted into the PDF document. We talked about how to create PDFs, right? Bookmark, hyperlink, TOC, OCR. And once you complete the document into the PDF, what is going to be the next step now? The next step is going to be submission or ECTD. ECTD. So how this submission happens in the real world? See, companies always prefer a software as a service, SaaS. And there are many softwares available, many publication platforms available, such as I hope you must have heard about this one, Pharma Ready, right? Or Extedo, maybe Lawrence, DocuBridge, or Viva Vault. So, which platform those who are working in the RA have been used? Hmm? Please type the name of the platform that you are using. Yeah, Saina is using Viva. Hmm? Sarjan, Dr. Sandhya Rane, Hepsiba, Pharma Ready. But what is the concerns with all these platform? Right now, those who are using the platform, they know that these platforms are not free for the use, or are they free? Because company is paying lots of amount as a license fee annually to these platforms. And what is the going to be, the rough approximate fee of these platforms? At any given point of time, the annual fee for all these platforms can just range from 3 lakhs to even 20 lakhs rupees per annum. And that's the real bottleneck because of which no one can afford learning ECTD submission. How many of you realize why people do not get exposure of ECTD? Type in R for realize in the chat box, because these platforms are not at all free. If you are interested, you can't afford this much amount. And that's where we Pharma Growth have decided to solve this challenge. And how the challenge was solved? We have created our own platform. The name of the platform is Smart ECTD. Same principles, same output, same experience. We are going to create, application by using our Smart ECTD, the way you can do it for Pharma Ready or Viva Vault, the same way. Principally, both are same. You can create the various modules like module 1, module 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can upload the document because we have got the complete tree structure ready for all the modules. You can validate the document also. We talked about some of the PDF properties. By using Smart ECTD, you can validate your dossier also. Now, how many of you are really interested to get ECTD experience by using Smart ECTD? Please type in me in the chat box, because this is the way out. This is going to solve your biggest challenge. This is going to provide you a very affordable platform for practicing in the real world, practicing ECTD submission by using Smart ECTD. You are also going to create XML output. I've shown you this XML output, during our earlier sessions. So Smart ECTD is also going to provide you the XML output the way it has been given by maybe Pharma Ready or other equivalent platforms. Now the question is, why hands-on ECTD or CTD experience? The first important question is, how many of you are freshers and wanted to get a job in regulatory affairs? Please type in RA for regulatory affairs in the chat box. that you are really interested to get a job into RA. It's one of the very niche job. I often seen people are very interested to get into RA because you can enjoy the corporate life most of the times. RA is always sits at the corporate and good life balance into the regulatory affairs. But in case if you works in quality control, quality assurance, R&D, manufacturing, can't you also move to the RA? Absolutely yes. So in case if you want to transition into regulatory affairs, if you're working into QA, QC, but wanted to transition to RA, please type in T for transition into chat box. Because this is something very important for you also. You deserve your interested career. And if your interested domain is regulatory affairs, I think this ECTD hands-on experience is certainly going to help you also. Now, how many of you are working right now, but you are happy with your current job and you want to excel into your existing domain with the support of regulatory submission? Please type in me in the chat box. So for you people also, this ECTD regulatory submission is going to help you to excel into your existing domain too. So don't ignore the regulatory submission. And lastly, you may be currently working into RA, but you haven't understood the end-to-end requirement. Would you like to understand all the stages of submissions? Please type in yes in the chat box, especially for this category now. Type in yes. You work in RA, but you don't have complete experience and you are really interested to get all this complete experience. Type in yes in the chat. Now see, this regulatory submission is not only required for freshers, but it is applicable across the various levels of your professional journey. Now see, it is very important to get this experience, but you need to be serious and ready to spare at least 2 to 3 months along with me. So how many of you are really ready to spare this much time? Kindly type R for ready in the chat box. Because this is not going to happen overnight. It is going to be a very rigorous journey, a journey which is going to go for the next 3 months. And in case if you are ready to spare 3 months time with me, I think this one program can really interest you. That is the hands-on ECTD preparation and submission with AI automation. Shall I bring this program for all of you? Please type in yes in the chat box. And let me show you what is the exact content of this program and why this program is much relevant, important for all the categories of the professionals I just discussed with you now. So I hope you can see this program PDF now. Type in yes, no. If you can see PDF, type in yes in the chat box. So this is good. The section 1 talks about submission ready PDF. How to prepare bookmark, hyperlink, OCR, TOC, font, page size, scanning resolution. All these properties, all these operations will be practically conducted during the training sessions. Is there something amazing? Please type in A for amazing in the chat box. I'm practically going to demonstrate you, and you are practically going to follow the same thing, and you are going to do that along with me. We'll talk about ECTD life cycle management. How many of you are really interested to understand how this life cycle management is done? How to conduct how to conduct, replace, delete, and update options? We are going to do that by creating various number of sequences. The section 2 talks about important ICH guidelines. We talked about ICH M4, ICH M4Q, M4S. We talked about ICH M4E and MX. So all these important ICH guidelines will be discussed in the program. The section number 3 talks about what is the way of generic product submission, because many of us works in generic industry. So it becomes very important to understand the generic product. The next is section 4 talks about the regional requirement in the US, Europe, Japan, UK, and Brazil. Variation filing means what? Post-approval variation filing. Once the product gets approved, so what kind of variations are possible in case of US, Europe, Japan, UK, Brazil? The section number 6 talks about DMF or ASMF or CP. So how this DMF, ASMF is submitted? The section number 7 talks about preparation of documents from module 1 to module 5. And this is going to be the important part of the program. As I said, I'm going to provide industry ready templates to all of you. And during this kind of online sessions, we are going to create a dossier for yourself. Is this something important? Please type in I for important in the chat box. If you really believe that creating document is really important skill and that is going to help you to get a job in regulatory affairs. We'll also talk about what are the AI tools which are very useful for creating your documents. So AI part is also covered in the program. Section 9 talks about ECTD submission and validation. And you are going to use our smart ECTD platform. So you will get a credentials like login ID and password, and you yourself will be trained. I mean, you will be trained on using smart ECTD platform, and you can then start submitting dossiers by using smart ECTD. SPL or labeling is also one of the very important skill. So how to prepare labels will be discussed in the section number 10. I hope you understand the content of the program. But how many of you are really interested to get this exact PDF file for your future reference? Hmm? And if you want to get this PDF, just hold on. Can you please see this link in the chat box now? Can you see the link? So please click on the link and you can download this link now. So please download this link. Take a moment, download the link, right? Download the link now. And you can, click on the link and you will be able to download this entire PDF file. So how many of you are interested to understand more about the program? Please type in I for interested in the chat box. If you want to understand exact timings, what is going to be the fees and all that. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So this is exactly the name of the program. This is what exactly the